So we're continuing the series, shaare teshuva, the gateways of repentance. So just a little sum up of what we talked about last time. So we left off with the Rabbeinu Ranat's introduction to the 20 principles of teshuva. And basically what he said over there is there's different levels of teshuva, meaning there are many levels depending on all these 20 steps. As we know, there are the first 3 steps, the famous 3 that you do vidui, the actual repentance, the regretting, and saying you're not going to do it again. That's the basic teshuva. But these 20 principles after the first 3, so there's extra. This is just the foundation of teshuva. That's what Rabbi Ronnie tells us. This is the basic level of teshuva. And in his introduction he says, so there are different levels of teshuva. If you could do complete teshuva, which is following all the 20 steps, 20 principles of teshuva, and then you're good to go. You do complete teshuva, or if you do the basic teshuva, you might not fully 100% do teshuva on it. And you compare it to like you have clothes, you don't clean it completely, so it's not 100%. It's not clean. If you clean it very good, it'll be 100% clean. That's what everyone else is telling us. So that was the introduction to the 20 principles of teshuva. Now we start with the first principle of teshuva. So Rabbi Ronnie says, "Ata nevaed ikarei teshuva." Let's discuss the principles of teshuva. So the first principle, ha'ikar ha'ishon, first principle, ha'harata, to regret. So that's the first principle. So now, what does it mean to regret? Rabbi Ronnie explains. Yavin levavo kira v'amar ozvo et Hashem. One should understand in his heart that it's terrible and bitter that he abandoned Hashem and he sinned. Ve'ashiv el libo ki yesh onesh v'nakam v'shilem al ha'avon. And you should take it to the heart that there is punishment, vengeance, and full retribution for every sin. As it says, mine is vengeance and retribution. It also says in Yov that you should fear the sword, because Hashem's anger against the sin is going to bring the sword. So he continues to read, so one should develop regret for his sinful deeds and say, what have I done? How is it that the fear of God was not before my eyes? And had no dread of the rebuke that that I would earn for my sin, and terrible judgments would come because of it. For many are the punishment of the Rashaim, the suffering of the Rashaim. Allah hamalti al gufi. I had no mercy on my body, and my eye was not compassionate toward it from being destroyed through Hashem's punishment. On account of one moment of pleasure. Could be compared to someone who steals and he plunders. He eats what he stole. So knowing that he ate and he drank, the judge is going to grind his teeth on gravel. As it says in Mishle, the bread of falsehood is tasteful to man, but afterward his mouth will be filled with gravel. So now Rabbi Ronnie is telling us over here, what does it mean to regret? one should recognize in his heart, the Rabbeinu says. What does it mean in your heart? It means not that you could just say in my mind, okay, I regret the sin. That's not what regret means. It means you have to understand it. You say, I regret it, and you have to regret it in your heart with actual emotion. And not just, I regret it. That's not enough. And you should also realize that there's punishment for what you did and many things. And not only that, what are you supposed to say? This is how you're supposed to, what are you supposed to do with saying that you regret? You're supposed to say, what have I done? Now, I was not scared of the judgments that's going to come on me. And I had no mercy on my body, meaning now, because I did the sin, now my body's going to have to get beaten up. I'm going to have to get punished in some way. Something's going to happen maybe to my leg. Something might happen now. Why? Because of just a tiny pleasure. Just a little pleasure. It's really not worth it. So if you know what's going to happen in the future, it's just a tiny pleasure, the punishment's much worse than the pleasure you're getting. And he compared it to a thief who steals something, he eats it. After that, the judge, he's going to go to court. What's going to happen? They're going to put him in jail, something's going to happen to him. So was it worth it in the end? No. So that's what Rabbeinu says. In the end, it's really not worth it. But not only that, even worse, even more so. Ra'amizot. I did far worse than that. Not only that. For I was cruel to my precious soul. And I've been contaminated by the filth of my Yetzirah. And now, what has my soul accomplished with all its achievements if it is evil in the eyes of my master? Meaning, Rabbeinu not saying that if someone comes and he's committing sins. So first of all, what Rabbeinu not saying over here is not only that, for far more so for your neshama, that now you're going to contaminate your neshama. And what's the problem with that? What's going to happen? So when someone does a sin, this soul is considered evil by Hashem. So what? So what's the big deal? So now things don't be like you ask for something. You won't be whatever mitzvot you perform. If you're doing sins also with it, it's not accepted as favorably anymore because you have some sins with it. So that's what Rabbeinu is telling us. If something he's a sinner but he has some mitzvot, it's not going to be done. You're coming with a filthy soul, so that's why. So it's not going to be accepted as favorably. So he continues. How could I have been foolish to trade away for a pleasure in this temporary world for a pleasure of the world that endures forever and ever? So another thing you're supposed to have in mind when you're regretting. So I've just for a pleasure, this temporary pleasure, I just got rid of my my pleasure in the Olam Haba. Why did I do that? So Rabbeinu continues. Or not only that, I should also say, how could I have been how could I have done something that's comparable to animals? That's following my Yetzirah, just like a comprehending horse or mule. And straying from the path of intelligence. So Rabbeinu is saying, since we have the ability to think, we have logic. So we're not like animals. Animals, they do things, they don't have a logic to it. They're not gonna say, I don't want to do this. They just do whatever they feel like doing. And I want to expound on this point. So now I want to ask you 3 questions. So, first question. When we go to Amidah, we're praying Amidah. We know we put our feet together. Why do we put our feet together? As I'll tell us, because we're trying to copy a malach. Now the question is, malach, what are we asking for in the Amidah? We're asking, help us for refuah shelema. I don't know, help us become religious. We're asking for things that a malach doesn't even need. A malach does. We're trying to copy a malach that doesn't even need to ask for these types of things. Does a malach need? Doesn't a malach need to be healed? No. Does a malach need money? No. So what exactly is going on? Why are we trying to copy a malach while a malach doesn't even need the things we need? These things don't even apply to malachim. So why do we try to copy a malach? Malach doesn't need these things. So that's question number one. So we have to answer a question. We ask another question, which a question obviously is, you have to ask this question if you're a normal human being, and that is, what's the purpose of life? That's the question. So now, how do we answer this question? So there's 3 categories of, I don't know what you want to call it, but you understand what I mean. 3 categories. There's one category, malachim. Malachim, what do malachim do? They have no desires to sin. They can't sin. They just can't. All they do is what Hashem wants them to do. Hashem says do this, they do it. It's not a no, yes, no, maybe. Right, just they do it. That's how they're created. Whatever Hashem tells them to do, they do. So that's malachim. Now on the other hand, there's a second type. That's the animals. What do the animals do? Animals, all they do is they surrender to their desires. It's the complete opposite of a malach. Animal, put a dog in front of a cat. What's going to happen? 2 seconds later, the dog's trying to bite the cat. That's what happens. You never see that a dog's going to sit there next to a cat and doing nothing. Why? Because all animals know how to do is surrender to their desires in a way. Meaning, all they know how to do is whatever they see, whatever they want to do, whatever they feel like doing, that's what they do. So that's what it means. They can't come and sacrifice for Hashem. They can't go against what they want to do. They can't say, I really want to do it, but I can't do it. I'm not allowed. Whatever they want to do, they're actually going to do. That's what's going to happen then. And there's the third category, and that is us, humans. We are in between this. We're between the malachim and the animals. Unlike the malachim, who only do what Hashem wants, and unlike the animals who only go against Hashem, in a way. We're in between that. And if you were to ask, what's the difference between a human and an animal, the answer is very simple. An animal has a choice. Also, human beings have a choice. Animals could choose what they want to do, but they can't choose what they don't want to do. If they want to do it, they're going to do it. They do whatever they feel like doing. But us humans, sometimes we really want that steak, but our friend really wants it, or we want this money, or we want to go to certain places, but we can't. But if it was an animal, the only way you could stop it is if you forcefully stop him. But human beings, they have their choice. They could choose. So that's the difference between human and animal. And back to my point, so we're in between the malachim and the animals. Now, if you realized, in this world, the only thing we know how to do is copy others. We can't do anything without learning from somewhere else. It's not possible. Just like a baby, he's 1 year old. He goes up. There's no way he would learn how to walk if he didn't at least see someone else walking. Yeah, he learns how to walk someone who walks. He learns how to talk because someone talks. If not, what would he be doing this whole life? So also us. There's no way we're going to be able to, even Torah. There's no way we're able to learn. We get our Torah from somewhere else. We get from some rabbi, from someone. That's where we get our stuff from. Everything in this world, we get copies from someone else. How do you build a building? It could just be you saw him doing it, and you realize, oh, that's what you have to do. Without that, you'll be clueless. You say, well, what should I do? So in this world, everything we do, we have to copy others. Now we have a choice. We're in between the animals and the malachim. You choose. Which one do we want to copy? Want to copy the animals? Or they just go against Hashem? But the thing is, we can't be someone who we aren't. Meaning, take the biggest Sashat, for example. He did some type of mitzvot in his life. But an animal, he sacrificed probably for someone. He probably held the door open for someone. He probably did a little kindness or whatever. Of course, now he's a Rasha and everything. But he did some type of good deed, some good deeds. And that's like doing what a malach does. But an animal does not do that at all. Unless he desires to do that, obviously. And so now there's also the opposite. There's the malach. We could choose to be like the malach, which is really what we're here for. We're trying to copy a malach. And just following what Hashem wants us to do. Only what Hashem wants us to do. So now, how does this answer the question? Very simple. So, when we're praying in Amidah for our things, our needs, why are we praying for them? What's our purpose of getting these items? Why do I want money? Why do I want panasa? Why do I want to be healed? What do I want these things for? What's the purpose? Why? You could do it like the animal. The animal say, why do I want to eat the steaks? Because I want to fill my belly up. I want to fill my desires. That's why I'm doing it. Or you could be like a malach, who everything he does, l'shem shaman, only for Hashem. You know why I want this money? So I could help the poor people. I donate to the yeshiva. That's why I'm asking for these things. Not because of my personal benefits. I'm only doing it because that's what you want me to do, and I wanna try to become like you, Hashem, and copy your ways, by giving people poor people money, by donating to yeshiva, and so on and so forth. And why am I eating? Because I wanna have a boost in learning Torah or something. That's why I'm eating, not so I could fill up my belly, to fill up my desires. Why do I sleep? So I could wake up the next morning, I could go to shul, and not be falling asleep in bed till 1 o'clock p.m. This is why I'm doing it. So the point is when we have to try to copy a malach. It's true, yes. Even though these things don't apply to malachi. Let's say it did. What would they do? If a malach was physical, it needed to sleep, it needs to eat. What would it do? What would a malach do? Why would he eat? To serve Hashem. Why would it sleep? To serve Hashem. Why would it give money? So it's giving poor people money so it could serve Hashem. This is why we do it. Not for his benefits, but for his reasons. And we're supposed to try to copy that. And not the exact opposite, which is the animals. And that's what we're trying to distance ourselves from, which Rabbeinu now is clearly saying over here. When you do a sin, you're compared to an animal. Because animals, all they do is they do their desires. And so basically, now you may tell me, okay, but do you expect me to be 100% like a malach, do everything for Hashem? Come on. How's that going to actually work? So to answer that question, we ask, now we're in the days of the Sefirat HaOmer, and we ask, there's a famous question. Usually, when you're having a party, celebrations, you're counting down to days. You count from 50, 49, 48, 47, day, whatever, till you get to 1, and then you have your party. But when it comes to Omer, we start from day 1, day 2, day 3, day 4, till the 49th day, and then we're done. Why do we count? We go upwards. We count upwards, not counting downwards. Because usually you count, I don't know, see what they do in the Happy New Year's, they go 10, 9, 8, they don't go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 seconds past, no. They do the other way. So if anything, why don't we do that? Why don't we count from the 50th day, 49 days left, 48 days, 47 days, why don't we do that? And we answer this question with mashal. So there's a guy. He's trying to build like a 24-floor building. And so he's about to start the process of building the building. So a guy comes over to him and says, "Hey, how's your progress going?" He says, "Hey, I'm getting started and everything." The same guy comes back a couple months later. Says, "Hey, where are you holding up on this building, this process?" "Oh, I built 2 floors." Why does he say I have 22 floors left? You know why? Because he shows every floor he built is an accomplishment. Everything we do is an accomplishment. And so on and so forth. How he comes back a couple months later, how much floors have you built? 3, 4 floors, 10 floors, 16 floors, whatever it may be. He just keeps on. Why does he say it like that? Because he shows it's an accomplishment. Every floor that's built is an accomplishment. And it came from my hard work. And of course, so the nimshal is, of course, Hashem's not expecting us to be fully like Malachim. Because as I explained last time, in the last shiur, if that was the case, Hashem would have created this world with judgment, meaning no teshuva. Meaning, Hashem expects us to be perfect. Don't do any sins. No sins. You're not allowed. It's like if you do, too bad. There's no way you could get rid of that sin. That's what it would mean if Hashem expected us to be 100% like a malach. But Hashem knows we're not. Of course, there was 4 exceptions. That there are people that wouldn't sin, but we're not talking about that. But for a normal person, we sin. So that's why Hashem knows we're not. He doesn't expect us to 100% be a malach, of course. But our purpose is to try to copy a malach as much as possible, since we just can't copy a malach 100%. So basically, the bottom line is, we should realize every accomplishment we do is something big. It's like a baby. It takes 1 step. It's a big accomplishment. Wow, everyone goes screaming, yeah, wow. Why? He's just... A normal person could walk normally, and every step you take, no one even pays attention to that. When a baby takes... Every step he takes is another celebration. Why? Because it's an accomplishment. And for us, being limited to certain things, so things are an accomplishment. So that's the point. So again, the point is, we're here to become like Malachim. We're trying to become as close to Malachim as possible. Do everything, ask for everything, because we're asking for Hashem. Asking Hashem, help me with certain things. So I could serve you, not for my benefits. So, that's the point. And now, let's go back to what Rabbeinu is saying over here. Rabbeinu is saying, don't be like an animal. An animal doesn't think. An animal has no chokhmah. Chokhmah means that you put the binah and the da'at together. You put the understanding and the knowledge together. So what does that mean? Binah, as we know, is understanding. And understanding means you learned something, as I said before. You could, if there's, let's say, there's something, if there's an inventor, someone who invents something, how does he know how to invent that thing? He never even heard of it. As I said, it can't be, because people only copy in this world. The answer is, based on what he understood from before, based on what he learned before, he took that knowledge, took his da'at, and he used it to understand something else. So that's what binah is. You take something, you take your knowledge, and based on your knowledge, you understand this is also what could happen if I do this. And that, of course, is knowledge, what you learn. What you see from others, what you learn from others. That's what knowledge is. And chokhmah is both of them combined. And what is that? If we put both of them combined, what happens? At the end of the day, what happens is that you could choose what's right and wrong. An animal doesn't have this choosing right and wrong. Whatever he feels like doing, he's going to do. There's no second thought on what he wants to do. I want to go eat a nice steak, so I'm going to eat. Not, oh, maybe I should, maybe I shouldn't, maybe I should go. No, it's not even an argument. That's what chokhmah is. What's going to happen if I do this? An animal is just thinking of the pleasure now. Take an animal. let's say, I don't know, you want to give the animal a surgery, he knows it's a pain, I don't know, whatever. So, the animal's going to try to avoid the pain. Why? Because it doesn't want the suffering, but it doesn't have the chokhmah. What's going to come out of this surgery? I'm gonna feel better, but they don't have that chokhmah. So that's what we're saying. When we are sinning, Rabbi says, we're being like these animals. They have no chokhmah. They're not using what's right and wrong, and they're using it to follow what's right and wrong. That's what chokhmah means, and that's what Rabbi is telling us. So now, continuing. So Rabbi continues, נפח והפי נשמע חיים חכמת לב וטובת שכל. Now, the Creator blew into my nostrils a soul of life that should be wise-hearted and find intelligence. And recognize Him and fear Him. And be the master of the body and all its activities. כאשר המשילה על שאר בעלי חיים שאינם מדברים. Just as He made it the master of all the living creatures, which do not have the ability to speak, מאשר יוקרה בעיניו נכבדה, because it is so esteemed in His eyes. אשר בעבור זאת נבראתי ויהי בי הפך מזה. And since I was created for this purpose, but I have done the opposite. למה לי חיים? What is my life? What am I doing here? כעניין שנאמר, אדם טועה מדרך השכל וקל לפעמים ינוע. It says in Mishleh, a person who strays from the intelligent way will rest in the congregation of the lifeless. ועוד כי כמשפט הבהמה לא עשיתי. And further, moreover, I have not acted in the manner of the animal. אבל שפלתי ממנה, I have sunk lower than it. כי הדשור קונהו והחמור אבוס בעליו. For an ox knows its owner, and a donkey knows its master's stroke. It says in Yeshaya. ואני לא ידעתי ולא התבוננתי, but I do not know my master, nor did I understand his existence. ושלחתי נפשי להושיע לאדוניה, and I set my soul free of its master, allowing him to disregard his commands. So, the Baron is telling us over here that we are above animals. Hashem gave us the knowledge to recognize Him, fear Him, serve Him, and like we're unlike the living creatures, the animals who can't speak. And also, I was created to rule over my body, my neshama to rule over my body, not the opposite, where my body rules over the soul, which means we have our desires, that's our body. Our neshama is our soul, which is supposed to be to Hashem, closer to Hashem. So which one we're supposed to follow? Our body, our desires, what our body wants to do, our pleasures in this world, or do we want to do what our neshama wants to do? Our neshama is also hungry, also wants some Torah, wants some things, some good hesed. So which one do we want to feed? And the answer is, of course, we were giving a neshama so our neshama could rule over our body, not the opposite, meaning the body rules over our neshama. And also in Mishleh it says that if one who goes away from the intelligent, he's like considered lifeless. Why? Because if you're a person who abandons, you're letting your soul control your body, and therefore, now guess what happens? You're going against Hashem, and so basically what happens is you're supposed to, nevertheless, even a person should take to the heart that in his area of weaknesses has departed from an intelligent way of justifies his existence. So basically meaning, if you're not using your intelligence, you're basically dead, because if you're not following your neshama, what your neshama wants to do, so you're considered dead, because what are you doing in this world? You're in this world to use your intelligence to do the right things, and you're not using it at all, so you're considered like a lifeless person. And not only that, you acted worse than an animal, whatever it says. Why? Why you sunk lower than an animal? Why? Because an animal doesn't have a choice. But we do have that choice. We could choose to do good or bad. Animal, their nature is just do what they want. But us, we have chokmah, so what are we doing? But we don't. That's the problem. So the Beirana continues, Ta'amti Sufi Nafshiti Sofi. I've tasted my nectar, but I forgot my end. I've robbed and I plundered and trampled the weak. And failed to remember the day of death. When all that will remain before my soul will be my corpse and in my burial place, my burial plot. So I've been saying. So I failed. I forgot that I basically failed to remember that my time's gonna come, and I'm gonna go to heaven. I'm gonna see I have this, and I'm gonna regret it for eternity, just for pleasure. The subject that we just explained. It was said by Yirmiyahu alav shalom. It says in Yirmiyahu, "En ish ni'amal ra'ato limod ma'asiti." No man relative is evil, saying, "What have I done?" So basically, Rabbi Yonah just concludes this by saying that there's a source for it. Yirmiyahu says it that one who he says, "What have I done?" Meaning that's called that's the first principle of teshuva, which is to regret one's sinful actions. So let's summarize what Rabbi Yonah said in the first principle. Number 1, pleasure of the sin is outweighed by the punishment that we're going to get in the next world. In this world, first we're talking. So first one, whatever punishment you do over here, even just the punishment that your body's going to get, it outweighs the pleasure that you got. 2, when you do a sin, you're contaminating your soul, which obviously you don't want to, because you're not going to find favor in the eyes of Hashem, as we said. 3, so when you sin, you lose your share to the world to come. 4, I mean you lose some of it at least. So when you're just doing what you desire, you're acting like an animal. 5, the Creator Hashem gave us an intelligent soul, so we could rule over the body, not the body ruling over the soul. 6, by forgetting one's master, the sinner acted even lower than an animal, because as we said, and we have the choice. The animals really, that's their nature, not to do what they have their desires. 7, when one dies, his the pleasure of the sin will be forgotten, but you're gonna regret it. It's gonna remain the same. The pleasure of the sin is gonna go away, but you're gonna regret the time you did that sin. So that's what Rabbi Yonah says. That's the first principle of teshuva. So that's the first principle. So now we're moving on. Saif Yud Aleph. The second principle, Hashini. The second principle. Azivat ha'chet. To forsake sin, meaning you abandon your sins, meaning you say, I'm not going to do it again. So this is what Rabbi Yonah is going to talk about right now. So this step, what do you have to do? He has to abandon his evil ways. And resolve in his heart that he's not going to do it again, to return to the path of his sin. And if he committed a specific sin, he should resolve it by saying that he won't repeat it. As it says in Yehezkel, repent from your evil ways. Also says in Yeshaya, let the Reshaim, let the wicked one forsake his way of his thoughts. So basically, Rabbi Yonah is saying over here. So what does it mean to say you're not going to do your sin again? It means that you say in your heart again, in your heart. What does it mean in your heart? It means that you're just going to say in your heart that you won't do it again, meaning you actually mean it. Not in your mind, okay, I'm not going to do it again. That's not enough. So, that's what it means to say I'm not going to do a sin again. And it also says that he should not repeat it. As it says, and it says repent from your evil ways, or else the wicked one will forsake his way. So, yeah, that's the point. The point is, what it means to forsake sin, say you don't want to do it, I'm not going to do it again, and you actually mean it. So, now Rabbi Yonah is going to say, even though this is the second principle, meaning the first thing you have to do is you have to regret your sin, and then you have to abandon your sin. But the thing is, Rabbi Yonah is saying, now he's going to say there's a switch in the order. Meaning first you're going to do abandon the sin. This is what you have to start with. Second, then you regret the sin. So now Rabbi Yonah is going to explain. With that, you should know. If someone sinned by chance occurrence, that on occasion he was seized by the temptation of his yetzer hara. It was too strong for him to resist, so what happened? It overcame him. So, and this happened, why? Because his morals did not immediately mobilize the fight when it first attacked him. And they did not quickly roar at the sea of temptation and make it dry up. So Yetzer Hara, Judas says that, and he stumbled in his trap. This happened at a specific time when the Yetzer Hara was frightening him. And not because his true desire, not because he wished to discover and do the sin and repeat it again. For this person, the first step of teshuva is regret. So basically that means first you have to do first you do regret, then you forsake the sin, then you abandon the sin. In doing so, he should infuse his heart with grief over his transgression, with distress, really. And his soul should be afflicted as bitter as wormwood, a certain type of bitter thing. Again afterwards. Yosif lechol yom yirat Hashem b'nafsho. Then he should increase his fear of Hashem in his consciousness every day. V'yitin hitat Elohim b'libo b'chol et. And constantly put the dread of God into his heart. Al asher yeh nachon libo batuach b'Hashem. Till his heart is firm and confident in Hashem. Ki im Yosif yavol bo od hayetzer v'yeshehu b'pam. At that point, the Yetzer Hara, it passes his way again, and it comes the same way as before. It costs him once, like it did before. And his temptation for the sin is as strong as the first time. His heart will not be seduced by it, because his fear of Hashem is going to protect him. And he will fulfill the second principle of teshuva, and by which is to forsake, to abandon his sin in this way. It's according to which it says in Mishle, he who confesses and forsakes the sins will be granted mercy. His kid modeh tehila al harata ve'avidui. And then it says the first mention he confesses, and then it refers to regretting one's sin and confessing it. And basically that means also that vidui, doing the confession, the actual vidui, is a part of this. What do you call it? The second principle is a part of it. No, first principle. So that's what it means. Okay, let's continue. Yeah, and only afterwards he mentions forsaking the sin, abandoning the sin, which is indicating to us that teshuva should begin with regret and then forsaking sin. So again, let's clarify. So Rabbi Yonah says, in which case would you In which case would you start with regret and vidui, and then you move to abandoning the sin, which is the order Rabbi Yonah gave it to us, which is the first principle, regretting sin, second principle, to forsake the sin, to abandon the sin. So basically Rabbi Yonah says, if you sinned because you only sinned because the Yetzer Hara came to you first one time, meaning like he just popped out of nowhere. You don't intend to sin again. You just this happened once. You really don't plan on doing it again. You don't intend on doing it again. This is like you just happen to fall into the Yetzer Hara trap this time, but usually you don't. So in that case, what would he do? First step is he does regret. He regrets the sin, and then after that he does the other steps. He does the regret and vidui, the confession, and then he actually does then he says, I'm not going to do the sin again. That's only if he comes it's only one time with a sin. But Rabbi Yonah continues. However, regarding a man who constantly stands on the way, there's no good. A person who treads on his path of sinfulness every day. Repeats his foolishness and returns to his course many times over. Was always enamored with doing bad deeds, focused on stumbling block of his sin. Meaning temptation and his Yetzer Hara. and whose desire and ambition is not to be deprived by anything that he seeks to do. So for this person, when he awakens to recognize his evil, a different approach to teshuva is more appropriate. It continues, ראשית תשובת האיש הזה לעזוב דרכו מחשבתו הרעה. First step of this man's process, what he's supposed to do, first he abandons the sin, and then he changes the evil attitude. ולהסכים לקיים ולקבל עליו מה יוסיף לחטוא. And then he resolved to be steadfast and accepted upon himself not to sin anymore. אחרי כן יתחרט על עלילותיו הנשחטות ויתוודה וישוב אל השם. And then after doing that, he should regret the destructive deeds and confess them redoing. Then after that, he should return to Hashem. כמו שנאמר יעזוב רשע דרכו וישב במחשבותיו וישוב אל השם וירחמהו. And this is according to what it says in Yeshaya, let the wicked one forsake his way, and the moral man his thoughts, and let him return to Hashem, who will show him mercy. So let's explain. So going back, so when do you start with abandoning the sin? Or actually, when do you start with regretting the sin? If you are used to you're not used to doing that certain sin. It just came first time. You really don't do it. It's not something you don't usually fall into that trap of doing that certain sin. Maybe you ain't not kosher. Maybe something happened. You usually don't do that sin, but you fell into it. So in that case, you'd first regret it, and then you would do the actual what do you call it? You do the regretting, and then you do the redoing, and then after that you abandon the sin. However, in the case where you always fall to the Yetzaras, you always stumble in this certain sin. You always do the sin. Even though you may you always do the sin. Now you realize you woke up. I always do the sin. I want to stop. So how are you supposed to start? Everyone's telling us. First, you have to abandon the sin. Then you regret. And now we're gonna see why. Everyone's gonna explain. So why do you first abandon the sin? Then you actually do the regret. והמשל בזה למי שאוחז השלט ובא לטבול ולהיטהר. This could be compared to someone who's grasping a dead sheret, and he wants to immerse himself in the mikveh to make himself tahor. A sheret is one of the 8 living creatures. The Vayikra says in Parashat Vayikra, it says that one who touches a dead sheret he becomes tameh, and he has to dip himself. He has to go to the mikveh to purify himself. So let's say you actually you became tameh from this sheret over here. So now you want to become tahor. You want to go to mikveh. כי יניח השלט תחילה ואחרי כן יטבול ויטהר. First he sets down the sheret, then he immerses himself and he becomes tahor. כל זמן אשר השלט בידו או טומאתו ואין הטבילה מועילה. And as long as the sheret is still in his hand, tumah remains on his hand. It still remains upon him. Meaning the sheret continues to every second to contaminate him, and basically dipping the mikveh is useless. It's useless. So והנה עזיבת מחשבת החטא היא השלכת השלט. Now comparing this situation to what we're saying, when abandoning the thought of our sin is like getting rid of the sheret, והחרטה מאשר חטא והווידוי והתפילה במקום התפילה, and regretting one specific misdeed and confessing with vidui, and praying that Hashem will forgive him with is equivalent to to forgive him is equivalent to going to going to mikveh. So well, basically what Abarana is explaining over here is, so why exactly is someone why does someone who always falls into this trap have to start with saying he's not going to do it again? So the answer is very simple. When you have a sheretz, if you're going to hold in your hand, which a sheretz makes you tameh, as we said, so what happens is, if you're going to hold it, you want to go to mikveh with the sheretz still in your hand. So would you become tahor? No. Because you still have that tameh thing in your hand. Even though you're actually doing the process, I'm like, you're kind of saying, I'm trying to purify myself, but you have something constantly contaminating you, so it's not going to make yourself tahor. You're not going to make yourself tahor from that. Once you get rid of it, meaning once you do the actual once you abandon the sin, once you just say bye, I'm done with this, I'm abandoning it, just like over here. So then you're gonna be able to go to the mikveh and actually work. So Abarana is telling us. So if you're in this category that you sin, you're doing this certain sin and you always do this sin. It's not the first time. It's something you always do. But you just woke up, you realize you heard a nice shoe or something, and you realize what you're doing wrong, so you want to do teshuva. So what are you supposed to do? So the answer is, so what you're supposed to do is, first you abandon the sin, then you do the actual regretting, because if you're not going to let go of it, if you're not going to let go of what you did wrong, which is, as we said, abandoning the sin. You don't abandon the sin, so you're not letting go of it. So it's really like you could go into the mikveh, you could keep on regretting as much as you want, but it's going to be useless. Now, Abarana is telling us if you're going to do regretting first, and then you're going to do and then we're going to do the actual abandoning. So it's going to be useless in this case. So Abarana gives another case where this would apply, this same rule. That you have to first abandon sin, then regret, which is the opposite of what we're saying. So, Abarana continues. V'ayaki yavohu yisurin u'machovim al rasha asher tamid kol ze ezemav v'yithalech b'shamav. If it occurs that troubles and afflictions set the type of wrongdoer, as we said above, who's constantly he's occupied, his constant preoccupation is to follow his misdeed. יעשה בתחילה וישיב מחשבתו הרעה אשר חשב ויחריט מבעדיו מידיו. He should first accept the discipline, then he should retract his evil plans and cease his improper actions, and therefore, then after he abandoned the sin, out of recognition that the sinful way is brought troubles upon him, then he could go and regret after that, after he's forsaken the sin. Could be considered compared to mashal of a cap that one strikes him with the cattle goad, which is like the stick, like good. And you tell him to plow straight furrows, which is like the place where you plow. So the reason, why are you hitting the cap? You're not hitting it because you want it to. You don't want it. You're not hitting it so you could regret what it did. You're hitting it so it could fix itself and do what's right. move on, say I'm gone, I'm not doing this problem no more, that's it. This is why you're hitting the cap. You're not hitting it to say right now, regret it. Maybe afterwards you could, but that's not what we're focusing on right now. Right now, you have to just move on. Keep on, just do the correct thing and stop doing, making these, plowing it the crooked way. So, so to over here, one who stands on the way that is no good, he must recognize that there is discipline. Basically meaning, therefore, he should first accept the heavenly discipline to abandon his ways and to finally then start going in the correct way. כמו שנאמר, שמוע שמעתי אפרים מתנודד יסתני ויבשר כעגל לא lumad. It says in Yirmiyah, I've indeed heard Ephraim moaning, yeah, disciplined me, and I become disciplined like an untrained calf. After that says, for after my attorney I became remorseful, I regretted it. This means to say, that after you disciplined me and you made me return to my wrongful way, afterward I became remorseful and I decided to regret. And also I came to regret my past transgressions. Then I bring it to conclusion. Indeed, in this passage you see clearly the entire matter that we set out. So now let's say what Rabbi Yonah is saying. So first off, Rabbi Yonah said, so we know what it means to forsake a sin, to abandon a sin. It means to, whenever you do something, abandon it. Say, I'm not going to do it again. Say it in your heart, mean it. Then he said, when does this apply? When do you do the order first? You regret, then you abandon. Rabbi said, you do it when it was only one time sin. If it was the second time, then no. Then you first you do the regret, then you do the actual, then you abandon the sin. If it usually comes up, what do? So you do the opposite. If it's a sin you usually stumble in, so you do this first. First you do the abandon, then you do the regretting. Same applies in the same case, but the only thing that was different is if troubles occurred him. So like let's say he's troubles and afflictions are coming on this person, and he keep on following his misdeeds. So meaning, so Rabbi says, as compared to someone considering a cattle, you hit him with a stick. Say, why are you hitting him? You're hitting him because you don't want him. You're trying to tell him do the right thing. You're not hitting him so he could regret it. So meaning you're getting the suffering. Why is Hashem punishing us? Why is Hashem giving us the suffering? Not so that we should say, oh, why don't you regret what you did? Hashem's saying, no, that's not what I'm punishing you for. Hashem's saying, the reason I'm punishing you, so that you follow the correct path. And this is if you're always stumbling in the same sin. So, that's what we're talking about. So that's why we would say that in this case, in these two cases, first you abandon sin, then you forsake. After you forsake the sin, then you're gonna regret it. You do the regret. So now we've covered the general principles of teshuva. We did the three main ones, three famous ones: to regret the sin, to actually do the confession, and to abandon the sin. You did all those three. Now, Rabbi Yonah, as he said before, is going to talk about the extras, if you want to say. But as Rabbi Yonah said before, as I mentioned in the beginning, the shiur, that when you do teshuva, it has to be done with your correct. I mean, you try to do as much teshuva as possible. That's what it means. We want to do as much teshuva as possible. We want to clean our stains as much as possible. So, in order to attain this complete teshuva from this point on, so what you're going to have to do is, from now, it's not the basic steps anymore. Now we're going to move on to the third principle. So, again, so far we had two principles, or if you want to say three. One, to regret the sin, and to do the vidu actually, it's a part of it. And two, to abandon the sin. Now, we're talking now the third principle, which is Shalishi. Third principle is Hayagon, the Greek, which means, so it means that you be distressed over it, which means not only do you regret it, it's actually suffering that you did the sin. So this is the third thing. The third thing is, whenever you do the sin, not just, okay, I regret, I'm sorry. This is on a deeper level of regret. You're saying, you're actually suffering now because of the choice you made, because of the sin you did. It's not obviously not physical suffering, not actually feeling a pain, but you're sad over it, you're sighing over it. And that's the third principle. So now that Rabbi comes to explain, as we're in Saif Yudbet now. So Ishtonen Kilyota Ve'ashov, one should arouse his conscious and understand Kamara Bara at Mishe et Yosro. How terrible is the lot of one who defied his creator. Then grief will grow in his heart, and storm will through his thoughts, and he will sigh with the bitterness of his heart over his sins. So meaning, what Abaron is saying over here is one should, what someone's supposed to do is he's supposed to try to make he's supposed to be sad about the sin he did by being like, oh, I feel bad, you're suffering in a way because you did your sin. Your heart's all feeling all bad, and you're not feeling, you're all upset. Now I should understand this, because you might think, okay, in a way, so people also do this. When they lose money, something happens. They some type of thing, they have some type of bitterness in their heart. And someone, he does a bad business deal, he's like, he's like eating his heart because what he did. So everyone else says, so it's not really just that. It doesn't mean just that, because that's not what we're talking about, in a way. It's possible that one regret and feel badly about his sins. the sin that he committed, yet it's not fulfilled the requirement of teshuva with this. Meaning that it's possible that he could regret and he could feel bad about it, but he didn't do this thing of to feel sorrow over sin. So continue. כי גם הפסד דינר או יקשה בעיני האדם. The fact that even a minor financial loss will which is the amount of a dinar or nisad, which is a certain amount of money. Nisad is 1/24 of a dinar. The Gemara tells us, and that's some type of distress for a person. You actually feel suffering and you have some type of regret for that. If one lost his fortune in a bad way and wiped his clear of his assets, נפשו עליו תאבל ותפרע אחתו נפשי ונפשו מרה לו. His soul will mourn over it, sighing will be heavy, and his soul will be bitter within him. וכן על צרות רבות ורעות כאבון סך ויגון בבבו יומם. Like similar if a person, his pain is everlasting, and his suffering is like sadness, his grief fills his heart every day. יותר מה ראוי שיסתער ויענה. A greater pain of sighing than that is appropriate. מי שמראה את השם יפרח וישחית ויתעיב על ידי פניו. For one who's went against the will of Hashem and acted corruptly and abominably before him, ולא זכר השם ברעו יש מאין והחיים והחסד עשה עמו. And who failed to remember that who created him from nothing, granted him life and much kindness. ידו תנחהו יכולת ורוצה נפשו וכל רגע. Who guides him constantly, who preserves his soul every moment. ואיך מלאו ליבו להכעיס לפניו. How could he have dared to provoke his anger? ואיך תח מראות עיני החוטא מהשכיל לבבו. And how could a sinner's eyes been sealed from seeing, his heart from comprehending? והמשכיל והאשר נפקחו עיניו. If a wise person whose eyes are open to the truth, יוחקו הדברים האלה בלבבו ויבואו בהדרי רוחו. These ideas will be engraved in his heart and penetrate into the chambers of his spirit. So, Rabbi Aaron is telling us over here, very simple. So it's not just if you lose a little. What we're not talking about over here is if you're being upset. Okay, I got a little. I lost some money, so now I'm upset. Oh, what type of deal did I do? Because now, of course, we're talking on a much higher level than that. Much more of a sorrow, much more of a pain inside. Why? Because we're talking now, we're not just talking money, some type of loss, physical loss. We're talking a spiritual loss. So we went against Hashem. So we have much more to be upset about. That's what Rabbi Aaron is telling us. We have much more. We're supposed to even be more upset and feel even worse about ourselves because of what we did. So that's basically what he's saying. It's like someone who's suffering every day. He has a lot of pains and everything every day. He's suffering a lot. He is someone who his grief fills his heart every day, meaning every day is all upset. I'm feeling like he's all upset. He's all it's so much pain and everything. He's all sad. And this is what it means. That's what it means. It's not just the physical pain that he's feeling. It's also a pain. It's also this grief, as this is the concept over here. This grief that's inside of it, his distress over the fact he has pain, also is a part of it, of this thing, of this principle. And of course, even that Hashem's going against Hashem is even we're supposed to have a greater, supposed to be even more upset that we're going against Hashem than than doing this. So, yeah. So basically, that's what Rabbi Yonah is telling us. But then Rabbi Yonah concludes. So Rabbi Yonah first says that how could we have gotten Hashem angry? You should be upset about that, and not only that. Let's say you took a wise person. He realized he was doing something wrong for a certain amount of time. So he found the truth. He thought otherwise. Something happened, and in the end of the day, so he changed because he saw something true, found the truth. What does a wise person do? He keeps it inside of him, and we should really, you should learn to understand this, because a lot of people, they find the truth, they hear the truth, they hear this is wrong what they're doing, but they don't change it. A wise person does, what he does is, he doesn't go, okay, yeah, he ignores it. He heard it, okay, yeah, maybe it's not true. A wise person keeps it inside of him, and based on that, he changes his whole life. Because he found out what he was doing the whole time was wrong. Well, obviously, of course, now you shouldn't be jumping to conclusions on, I was doing the wrong thing the whole time. I was doing something wrong, because maybe you were doing the right thing, and that's what happens. Of course, we're talking now if you have some investigation, you're seeing if I did something wrong or not. But so the point is that we're supposed to be like these wise people. Whoever they find something they do wrong, so they change it right away, and they keep it inside of them, not just ignore it and forget about it. So now the bigger now, when I'm up to say Saif Yud Gima, it says, "Madregot teshuva u'ma'aloteha." What was teshuva in the spirit, in the spiritual advantages from teshuva? One gains from teshuva. Lefi godel hamerirut ve'osem hayagon. Depend on the degree of bitterness and the intensity of his grief over the sin. והיא התשובה אשר תעבור מדרך טוהר הנפש וזכות שכלה, that because of this grief in the aspect of teshuva, that is a product of purity of the soul and refinement of his intelligence, כי לפי שכלו וכפי אשר תפקחנה עיניו, for his accordance to one's level of intelligence, that which one's eyes are open to, as we said above, that by sinning he went against his creator. ירבו ויעצמו במאוד מאוד יגונב ויונב על ראש עווניו. As inner grief over many sins will grow and intensify to get to even greater degrees. So we're not saying, guess what? You have to understand. Now, so basically, if you want to attain this level, it's not a normal person could do it. That's the whole point. A normal person who doesn't have such a purified neshama is able to do this level of feeling bad, like having a suffering because he did the sin. Okay, a person could regret, and maybe even to some extent he'll have, depending on his the level that his neshama is on, is how much he's gonna That's how much he's gonna do he's gonna actually have this grief and his pain and his suffering for the sin that he did. That's how much stress he's gonna have. So now now Rabbi Yonah tells us how do you get to a higher level of neshama? How do you get your neshama to a higher level so you're able to get to this level of having this level of teshuva grief? Because this category over here, this principle, there are many levels to it. You could be a lower. It depends on your spiritual level. That's for the main part. That's how you. Of course, all of these depend on your spiritual level. How much you're gonna regret your sin. How much you're gonna actually redo it. Okay, fine. Over here is the key. This is like the main thing that has to do with your spiritual level. Because if you don't have a spiritual level, if you're not a high spiritual level, you don't have a pure soul. So what's gonna happen is it's like you're not able. If you're not close to Hashem, you're not. And then that's what's gonna happen. Meaning, Rabbi Yonah tells us the way to achieve this pureness of the soul is to, of course, be intelligent in Torah. So this is what Rabbi Yonah tells us. So, with your level with your intelligence, you could, your eyes will be open to many things, and therefore, you see the ways of Hashem and everything. Your intelligence grows. Real intelligence, not a fake intelligence, meaning the intelligence of Hashem, and doing seeing what the true intelligence, not false intelligence. There's fake things, false ways. You're smart in the wrong things. We're talking now. You're intelligent in the Torah. You see, and you actually understand it. That's the whole point. Or you're talking now. You're intelligent. Okay, good, but you also have to understand that also Hashem's a creator, and all these things is actually getting punished, and all these things we already see Hashem's creator, so that's what it means. And that way, if he builds on his his intelligence, Rabbi says that then in that way he will that he'll be able to achieve a higher level of this principle, which is to regret your sin, but in a way of actually being sad over it. So Rabbi Yonah brings source now for this. כמו שנאמר כי לא לעולם אריב ולא לנצח אכסוף כי רוח מלפני יעטוף ושמות אני עשיתי. It says in Yeshaya, for I will not argue forever, nor I'll be forever wrathful, angry. For when the spirit from me aches, and the soul I made beoro, which means כאשר יעטוב ויסתער הרוח שהוא מלפני כי הוא מן העליונים. When the person spirit is all upset and distressed and he's tormented by his sins that comes before me, since it's from Hashem, it's from above. והטופו ונשמות אשר אני עשיתי. And so I made likewise also. לא יעריב עוד ולא אכסוף. At that point I'll no longer argue, nor will I be wrathful towards him. כי איך לא ארחם ואחון על נפש יקרה אשר היא מלפני. For how can I be merciful and not show favor to the precious spirit that comes before me? שעמות אשר אני עשיתי, and the souls I made. So Rabbi Yonah is telling us, so Rabbi Yonah brings the source and saying, you know what this means over here? When a person has, as we're saying, has this principle over here, he's upset, he's suffering now that he did the sin. So what happens? So he no longer argue to make him suffer and get punished or whatever, to punish him. Hashem won't be angry at him because he sees now this is what he's following my path. He's doing what he's all upset about what he's done. So that's what he's saying. So the Ronnie explains. This is why the liability for sin it becomes lighter when you're sighing. It becomes heavier when your sighing becomes heavier. Because when the grief emanates from your pureness of the heavenly soul. And those pain, although through this pain of the soul he gains more favor with Hashem than he would gain through many troubles and afflictions of the body. As an example, the king will show compassion to his disciples that were born in his house. Who are close to him and respected, like with the nobility of the land, very respectful person, high ranked. Who extend favor to them. More than he will show more compassion to these people than to any other people, common people. So basically over here, what he's saying, the Ronnie is explaining what this means. He's saying, you know why? Why is it that when you're sighing becomes heavier, your sin becomes lighter? Why? And the answer is because, as you said, the only way you're able to achieve this level of teshuva is if you have a pure neshama. And a pure neshama is next to Hashem. And Ronnie says, how can you understand that? Why is Hashem more happy with it? It's because he says it's like a king. If you're born, if you have there's children who are born in the house of the king. If they were born in his house, that means that he was living with them, the king's living with them, so they're on a higher status. They're closer to the king, so the king has more favoritism towards them, even though the other people, they serve him, yes, very nice, but this is the king's favorite. And when you're close to Hashem, you're next to Hashem, spiritually at least. So this shows that so Hashem has more favoritism to us, even though there are other people also. So the more we do this principle, which is to agree for our sins, then Hashem's gonna be we're gonna become closer to Hashem, and Hashem's gonna forgive our sins the more we do it. So yeah. So Ronnie explains this is how we know that's what the pasuk is talking about. How we know that's what it's referring to. It says, and the souls I made became because it comes to emphasize their closeness to above, which is why Hashem said He's not going to argue with them. This also explains why it says I made in regards to it, because even though the body and everything else are his handiwork, it's made by him, so so in similar pasuk it says Shemot Ulchot, or God's handiwork. Meaning to say, the reason he brings the pasuk is to show that whatever is closer to you, why even though everything else is Hashem's handiwork, Hashem is also from Hashem. Still closer to that because it's something precious to him. It's close to him. You can ask the same question: why does Hashem call Bnei Israel his children? Also, you could say that the whole rest of the world, they're also created by Hashem. You could also say it's Hashem's children. And the answer is because we're his special children. We're like a more pure and holy. We're closer to Hashem. That's why he says, guess what? He's my children. These people over here, these special people, they're my children. That's what the point is. Furthermore, certain sense of Hachamim have said, Masechet Nida, famous thing. Shoshat שותפין יש באדם אביו ואמו והקדוש ברוך הוא. There are three partners in the creation of a person: his father, his mother, and Hashem. And even though Hashem creates even the body, but the father and mother, they just attend in it. They help out. Like, they're the ones who are used to create the body. But, however, but since the father and mother have no share at all in making the neshama, therefore it says the souls I made, because Hashem did it himself. And phrase and the souls I made demonstrates about the parallel phrase when the spirit from before me that's meaning as we explained. That is this meaning as we explained that the spirit emanates from from above. That's why when it grieves and it exhorts sin, it gains a person higher levels of atonement. So let's explain. Basically, that we're not saying over here is, so basically Hashem so the reason it says the things I made, Hashem's not gonna argue and fight with them because they're close to him, because the neshama is pure. Whoever doesn't who grieves over the sin they made. And not only that, so also they're closer, since they're closer to him and they have a holy neshama, so they're considered Hashem's handiwork and it's Hashem's things, even though everything else is also from Hashem, made from Hashem. It says the Gemara, there's three creators in the world, that it's the Father, Mother, and Hashem. Even though the Father, Mother Hashem still creates the body. Even the body is created by Hashem. It's not just the Father, Mother. But the reason it says Father, Mother is because they have some type of share in it. Through them, the body was made, and basically means Hashem says, I made the souls because I 100% made the souls. And then the Neshamot. So yeah. So that's what Abirana says. So now, just to conclude, Abirana says, Be'amad David alav shalom, David HaMelech alav shalom said, Tehillim, Hashem nigdecha kol ta'avati ve'achati mimecha lo nistara. Hashem, before you is my entire yearning, and my sighing is not hidden from you. Be'uro, this, which means like this, Geuya lefanecha kol ta'avati, is revealed to you about my entire yearning. Ki enena zulati la'avodatecha, that is nothing except your service. And you know about my sign. Ki enena iske ha'olam ve'adevarim ha'kalim. That is not about my failures in the matters of this temporary world and its physical entities that ultimately cease to exist. Ve'zulati al-hata'ai ve'al koser yadi ba'avodatecha. Rather, about my transgressions and my deficiency, I'm serving you. Basically meaning, so David HaMelech said, a pasuk, he said, Hashem, my entire yearning, all my, as we said, this concept over here, to what do you call it? Over here to be distressed over your sins. David Amelech says, you know why I'm doing it? All for Hashem. I'm not being distressed in anything else. This is what I'm doing it for. I'm only doing it because Hashem, you told me. I only want to be distressed on not following your ways. And that's what he's saying. So this is what we should take with us. We're supposed to, whenever we have we're sighing out. What are we supposed to be distressed over? What are we supposed to use this concept for? Only for ways of Hashem. That's the only thing. This is what we're supposed to do. We're only supposed to be distressed over things of Hashem. Not these physical worlds. I lost money. Oh, you're so upset. You're spending all your time. You're so upset. This is what happened to my friend. And this, that. No, we're not here. Whatever I went against you, this is what we're supposed to be all So, just to conclude, Rabbeinu closes like this. One of those who prays intensely in prayer that he prepared. My sign is caused by fear of you, and therefore remove from me all of the sign. ודאגתי מקוצר ידי בעבודתך והרחק ממני הדאגות. And my worry is caused by deficiency in serving you, and remove from me all your worries. So, Rabbeinu is coming to explain what David Amelech means by my sign should not be is not hidden from you. It doesn't mean that it doesn't mean that what we think it is. Hashem knows everything. Okay, that's obvious. Meaning, don't make my upsetness. Don't make me be distressed over things that's not what you want me to distressed on. I don't want to be distressed on things that happen to me, my sufferings. I only wanted to be stressed upon the things that I'm doing against you, or if David did anything against Hashem for the most part. So yeah, so David is teaching us, and Rabbeinu teaching us. So the only reason we're supposed to be signed is for Hashem's way, and this is the principle too of Vayagon to have grief over your sin. So, we concluded Saif Yudayif, and Rizak Hashem will continue next time. And that's it.